Batas International Media. www.batasmedia.com. From the Philippines to the world, for the glory of God and service to mankind.
Hello and welcome to the pilot episode of my program called The Better Globe Power. Well, I guess everybody's wondering what is this Better Globe Power is all about, but for you to know, I have a very special guest here, and he just came from Norway, and of course, he is my CEO chairman. And by the way, this is Mystica for your information, for those who doesn't know me yet, but I'm sure most of you guys know me already. But to what I'm doing right now, I'm actually the founder and of course the president of Mystica Charity Foundation, and at the same time, the managing director of Better Globe Marketing Philippines Incorporated. And as like I said, I have a very, very important guest today. And for my pilot episode, none other than our CEO and of course the chairman of Better Globe Group, Mr. Rino Solberg from Norway. Yeah!
Thank you very much.
How are you, Mr. Rino?
I'm fine.
Okay, so I gather you are here because you're invited to say something about Better Globe, because this is very, very important for them to know since it's our pilot episode. Okay, can you say something about Better Globe, please?
Yes, I can say that Better Globe is a Norwegian group of company originated from Norway. However, it started up in Kenya already in 2004. And we have a huge goal to eradicate poverty in Africa. And we are doing that in a very special way, because we don't believe in just charity as such. We believe in charity with a touch of business, because we want to make charity systems what you call sustainable. That means it's going on and on and on. And in order to eradicate poverty, we have to help the poor people to make money so they can stand on their own 2 feet. And in fact, I'm sure all of you have heard the old saying that if you give them a fish, they will live for a day. If you teach them how to fish, they can live forever. However, Better Globe, we're thinking even further than that, because we think that we have to create business people out of these poor people so they can sustain their own living. And that's not enough to just teach them how to fish. We will have to teach them also how to process the fish and export the fish and make money in all the kinds of way they want. That is, of course, just a way of saying it, a way of speaking. We want to get them sustainable for themselves. So we will teach them how to make money, how to make something out of the money they make, and how to run their family in a more business manner.
Okay, so you've mentioned that your aim and goal is to eradicate poverty in Africa. Of course, I understand that that was your initial goal when you were still there. But since you're already in the Philippines, and as a matter of fact, just like I said a while ago, that I am the managing director. So what is this all about? Why did you come here to the Philippines in the first place and get involved with the Filipino people as well?
Well, the reason for us to come here is that we know that Asia is a huge market for us to also help poor people. And of course, Better Globe is a tree planting company. So that means we are fighting global warming and helping the environment. And it doesn't matter where we are doing it. But we wanted to look into the Asian market to test it out. So the Philippines was the first choice. And as you correctly said, what are we going to do here? Well, when we met you, you said that, well, I remember it very well the first time we met. You say that it's well and good to eradicate poverty in Africa,
yes.
But in the Philippines, if you're going to be successful here, we have to do something for the Filipino people.
As well.
Yes,
yeah,
as
that's
well.
True.
And so we were then getting back to the drawing board or a cooking table, whatever you like to say, and we sort of try to find a way that we can hit 2 birds in 1 stone. Help the Africans, as we are doing anyway, and also the Filipinos. So we have created what we call the world's only and first charity system that pays interest.
Yeah.
So this is something we're going to do into the Filipino
Right,
market also.
right. Okay, so like what he said, is they're not just going to eradicate poverty in Africa, but since here I am right now, who's acting also as the president and founder of Mystica Charity Foundation, and that's when we started to get affiliated with the Better Globe as well, and that's the reason why if they can go and take a look at my mysticacharityfoundation.org in order to find out how we got together and how Better Globe is going to help a lot, you know, to our Mystica Charity Foundation as well. So if they can go back again, mysticacharityfoundation.org, or to find more about Better Globe, right? So they can go to betterglobeforestry.com, or we just have a new website at this point, and this is the Better Globe.
Asia.
Asia. So,
Yes.
right. And, you know, Mr. Solberg, now that we are going to really implement this because in full force, because that's what I really wanted. I will be acting as the commander in chief right here in
That's
order
right.
to have this done.
That's right.
Because, like, right now, it's really very important to eradicate poverty and at the same time to really protect the environment, because that's one problem, one of the problems, one of the biggest problems, as a matter of fact, in the Philippines: floods, typhoons, any other natural disasters that's been going around. Okay, so it's very obvious that planting trees is one of the main solution in order to limit all those problems, right?
Yes.
So we have this campaign about this 12 12 12. So can you say something about this 12 12 12 campaign that you have mentioned about?
Yes, you know, it's strange with the number 12, 12, 12, because that means the 12th of December 2012. And that's going to be another 100 years before anybody could write 12, 12, 12. That'll be 12, 12, 2112. So we picked that date, 12, 12, 12, and we bought the name called 121212.com, and we are in the process of making a website for that to promote our program in the Philippines. And our goal with the 12, 12, 12 is to get people to donate trees to Mystica Charity Foundation and other organizations that we're going to put together. I think we're going to mention a little bit more about it, but we have sort of put up the goal to have 12 organizations, bigger organizations, which we will help to fundraise for them in a very, very unique way. So all the organizations we are talking to, Rotary and CCW and a few other organizations that's going to be in on the project.
And it's going to be all selected ones,
Yeah, we're going to select them when
Yes.
we have got them presented to us, and then we're going to pick 12 probably to start with, and then we'll see how we can do. But before we go into that, I think it's important for me to explain a little bit what happens if someone donates a tree.
Right.
In fact, we have created what we call, like I told you a little bit ago, that is what we call the only sustainable charity system that pays interest in the whole world. If you are donating something, we have taken the biblical principle of the more you give, the more you get
receive,
and
yes.
receive. Yes. So we have taken that into practical action. So, for example, if you donate 1,000 pesos for one tree, then 10% of that will go to the organization that,
Or the Mystica Charity
that
Foundation.
could be Mystica Charity Foundation, could be Rotary, could be
Or their
CCW,
organization.
their organization.
It's going to be their own choice,
Yeah.
you know, which organization they're
That's
going
right.
to donate the 10%.
Yes,
Okay.
and the 10% will go to them. 90% will go to buy a tree, which we will plant in Kenya, that produce a profit over 20 years.
Yes, yes.
However, that's not all, because also in the process of planting one tree in Kenya, we will plant up to probably 5 trees.
5 trees equivalent to. Okay, this is
Yeah.
very good, because that's also one of the questions before, you know,
Yes.
that's been, you know, creating in their minds. They said, why is it that we're just going to be planting in Kenya? And they said, okay, that's not a problem, because in every tree that's going to be planted in Kenya, there's going to be some trees being planted here. So it's either
Correct.
going to be 2 or to 5 trees. So
That's
it depends if how much are we going to donate on that particular organization, because we have selected some organizations who are into tree planting as well. So if we're going to be donating such amounts, and it depends on them if how many trees they're going to plant with that kind of amount that we're going to be donating, right?
Yes, that's
so
right.
as long as we know that there's going to be 2 or 5 trees in each equivalent to one tree in Kenya here,
Exactly.
right?
Well, let's make a simple estimation. Our goal is to get donation for 1.2 million trees until the 12.
Okay, okay.
And then if we do that, then we will probably plant 5 billion trees.
Yes,
I'm sorry,
5
5
million,
million
5 million trees in the Philippines.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
So, and you just mentioned a while ago that it's not just a donation. It's not just like donating a certain commodity like wheelchairs or something that they
Yeah.
always devaluate.
Yeah.
But since their donation is gonna go to trees, of course, the trees they're gonna produce some profit later because and which will take up to how many years?
Well, it's up to 20
years.
yes.
Okay.
But you see, what we have done is that when you donate 1,000 pesos, then no trees can create any profit for the first 4 years. But the fifth year,
At the fifth year.
yes, because actually we are planting 2 trees,
Okay.
one acacia Senegal tree, which gives us gum arabic,
Right.
and then one which is called mukau, which is a
Mahogany.
high quality mahogany tree.
Okay.
And that's the only one that grows in semi-arid, almost desert land.
Okay.
So in Kenya, for profit. So now, when somebody donates 1,000 pesos, for 4 years they get nothing. But the fifth year, they
On
get
the fifth year.
yeah, they get equal to 10%
Okay,
of the
10%.
donation of the 90%. That's
Oh,
900
that's great,
pesos.
yeah.
So they get, in fact, then 10% of that.
Oh, that's
back.
great. That's
Yeah,
great.
yes.
Yeah. It's just like a saving, and then with 10% profit starting on the fifth year.
Every year. For
Every
15
year.
years.
So they're not just donating, it's
Yeah.
actually a savings.
Yeah,
It's a donation
you can
because
say that.
yeah, it's a donation for the environment because we're going to be using that for the environment, for the protection of the environment, and to give some jobs also to some Africans. And at the
Absolutely.
same time, 10% is going to go to a charity foundation like Mystica'S Charity Foundation or their organization.
That's
So
right.
I mean, it's going to be helping a lot. Plus, it's not only that, it's going to be generating 10% starting on the 5th year to the 19th year, and then on the 20th year. So what's going to come next?
That's where the really big thing comes in. Because
Okay.
you see, then we're talking about the mahogany trees has been growing for 20 years
Okay,
now.
and they're going to harvest that on the 20th
We
year.
are going to cut the tree,
Right.
and we're going to sell the tree, and we're going to give the profit to the donors.
Okay,
and that
so
is quite
how
new.
much is that are you talking
That-
about?
Now
On top of the
now we're
10%
talking
for
about-
15 years.
Yeah, well, now we're talking about 10 times
10 times more.
the 900 they gave.
Oh,
So they're
right.
going to get 9,000. So altogether, when they donate 1,000 pesos, over 20 years, they will get 10,000, about 10,000 pesos back.
Oh my
So
God.
that is in fact almost like you can call it an investment,
Yeah.
or it's not an investment because
And of course,
you donate.
yeah,
but
and of
you
course,
get it back.
if they're calculating that the 1,000, of course, and what if that 1,000 is actually 100,000? Or all you have to do is multiply that
Multiply.
into 11.5 times,
Correct.
right? And how much more if they have donated 1 million? All you have to do is always multiply it by 11.5 times,
Yes.
which is really good.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take a little break, and we're gonna be right back after a few reminders.
Batas International Media. www.batasmedia.com. From the Philippines to the world, for the glory of God and service to mankind.
Okay, folks, we're back to the pilot episode of the Better Globe Power. And, Mr. Solberg, I had a lot of questions lately that why is it that, just like what you mentioned, the trees that's going to be generating some profits going to be planted in Kenya. Why is it Kenya? Well, in fact, we can actually plant all those trees here in the Philippines. So can you give us the specific answer so people will be able to clearly understand why is it in Kenya?
Because not like you said that you can plant all these trees in the Philippines, because you cannot plant these trees in the Philippines. These trees are specially mahogany that grows in semi-arid land on a high level, on altitude about 1,000 meters above sea level. And you don't have that kind of altitude, and you don't have that kind of semi-arid land here.
Yeah, and you've mentioned about mahoganies, right?
Yes.
Okay,
mahogany.
so we're
That's a
talking
very
about
unique
mahogany. That's
mahogany.
true.
But the main thing is that, my goal is to plant 5 billion trees. And to plant 5 billion trees, we need 10 million hectares. And there's no
Okay.
way that I can get 10 million hectares in the Philippines.
All right.